Okay. All right, I'm recording now. All right. AMC. Well, we've already started going back up, but well, that could just be the well, I don't want to jump to too many conclusions there. What they could, what they could mean. It's at the middle. Yeah, that's close to the middle. Okay. Sorry. All right. This stock father. This is AMC. This is entertainment and educational purposes only. Blah 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 blah. Who cares? Today a hairy day, calming nerves. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go back through the history of AMC just on a quick little thing where I'm just going to show the last run up, or not the last run up, but the big run up, starting with the sign of strength. So we have the sign of strength back here. And if you just take a box, right, and you look at the sign of strength and you start pulling it this direction, right, you start to see that we have not traded within this area. Now let's zoom in a little bit. We had a little bit of trading here, and that was about it. And it was very little right before the build-up. And so you can see most of this is pass through, or it just passes through and it doesn't count as trading. Let's move to a lower minute thing so you can kind of see a little bit closer. See, it just passes through here, passes through here. Now down here it did a little trading sideways, so we're almost like right on the button there. And I think I'd leave it there. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty close. Like, I'd say we traded down here, so this was a liquidity gap. So not just pure Wyckoff, there's a liquidity thing, and there's everything is passed through it. So yeah, just the lines pass through it. There's not been any trading really in it. And we get to here, right below it. There's a little bit. Maybe we can push it up. Can't have trouble pushing it up. There it is. So we can push it up a little bit. I don't want to move the whole thing. Why is this? It's not grabbing the. It's too big. That's what she said. There it is. Okay, so we'll move it up past. What I'm moving it up past is this area here where it traded. And now we're going to move back to today. I'm just going to switch to the daily, make it easier. Okay, so here we have today and yesterday. Or is it just today? No, it's just today. So, ironically, without, being too funny about it, now looks like we're right in that middle area. Now, I do, yeah, I think we might be done. We might be done. There's a possibility that it comes down to hit the bottom of this to spring. Sorry about the ad. But this liquidity area is a pretty important one. And so the idea that we came down to it makes sense. And if you listen to Booksy a lot, he always talks about how, like, when it goes to a liquidity area, it likes to do the top first, then it does the bottom, then it does the middle, and then moves out. So the thing here is that this may still spring, but it doesn't necessarily have to. I think it may, though. May come down to a spring, and the spring might be even lower. I have to go back through the time to make sure I got this bottom correct. It's a big box, so Bear with me a second. Just squish it up. Okay. There's okay. Just pass through. Come down a little. See this here trading. So this can come down a little bit. I'll move it down over here. There's a little trading here too. You can come down a little bit. Question is, can it come up a little bit? Look, just kind of pass through in there. Almost a little trading right underneath here. So a little bit, can come up a little bit. Gosh, it's slow. Slow and annoying on such a day. I'm trying to calm nerves with this, and instead I'm making myself get upset because I'm just trying to get there. Come on. Come to the past with me. All right. When we did the sign of strength last time, or not last time, the big June run, you can almost like move it up into that thing, and it's a very bizarre thing, and I wanted to move it down just a tiny bit, make up for those liquidity zones. Hopefully that would be it. So this green area being a liquidity area, that we would expect some trading eventually in it, and might as well do it now and get it out of the way, right? Type of thing. Sometimes they leave the liquidity areas alone, but apparently they didn't want to leave this one alone. And I don't know if because they're ultimately going to do distribution now, or if they're going to come back to an accumulation. But either way, and it might be breaking out right now because it looks like it's past that kind of middle line. And that was the do not pass line that I had mentioned that we would probably see distribution. Now that does not mean 100% we pass that line. Now we're going to collapse, right? I want to make sure that people understand that there's a gap here. Go into the details of that, but I imagine that it'll kind of bring itself back up. There's gaps all over this place. There's a big gap. I still got it circled up here. That's about where I expect it to come back to for the next run, whether it's distribution or accumulation. And I expect it to come back by the end of this week. So either tomorrow, I know it sounds crazy that it would run up that high tomorrow, but if it either whether it's accumulation or distribution, they're going to want to get eyes on it. So they're going to probably move it somewhat rapidly. Now they can do a slow progression if they're not trying to get too many people, but there's a lot of volume down here. And my do not pass line is a little high. No, it's higher than the do not pass line now. Yeah, so we're in that middle area now. We've accomplished coming back into this previous trading range. So that usually signifies a reversal of some type. So I'll probably catch kind of here, play around this quasi middle area, and kind of go back up. I wouldn't be surprised if we by the end of today, this is just hypotheticals, but just keep that in mind. I wouldn't be surprised today if we fill this gap here and make it where we're just barely green on the day. That way, if it runs tomorrow, it doesn't look as substantial. You know, or even if they come up higher than this today, where it's like 2% green day from being down 5%, It's not going to catch any eyes that are just looking at highs for the day, if that makes any sense. Anyway, hopefully that calms some nerves. I mean, distribution, let's draw it out and describe what that would look like compared to the accumulation. Okay, so now this isn't straight lines, right? This is going to be, when I draw the lines, it's a representation of the path, not the way it trades sideways and everything else. So we imagine to come back up to about here either way, and then the question will be, when it comes back down, if it catches midway and turns, goes back up, crosses the 1611 place, comes back down, retest that, it's going to take off. Now, if it's distribution, what you'll expect is for it to go up the same way, but when it comes back down, it will come all the way back down to the do not pass line, if not a little farther, and then come back up again. And then at that point it will not catch and just break all the way down. So I hope that clears it up. So basically, you can't really call it 100% direction right now. I still think it's accumulation. I'm not a bit worried about that at all. It's just that it's a little early, and you'll be able to predict it. Smart money gets in here knowing which direction it's going to go. So if it made this and then comes back up to 16, they know to buy like crazy and get in. And if it dropped down here first, then they wait for it to come back up here and they know to get puts or short it, whichever way they do it. So I hope that makes sense. That's all I got. All right. Catch you on the flip side.